this is Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today I am whipping up some simple candles to stick in your stockpile for emergencies. These don't have any scent or color or anything, so they're great for someone that might have allergies, or they're just perfect for emergency candles. And you just need a few simple things to make these. You can see they burn right down, and this is some leftover wax in here that I'll pull out, and I will reuse this. This is just a beeswax candle, and I'll reuse this wax. I'll melt this down and put it in another batch of candles. I just wanted to show you that you don't have to throw this away once it's too low and it won't burn anymore. And also, you can save the chunks from other candles. This is just wax that was melted down, and this is already scented and colored for another project that I did. But you can reuse this stuff. Just the chunks take a little longer to heat up. That's the only thing, but it is still good and perfect for candles. But today I'm going to be using just soy wax flakes. And I just buy them in a 10-pound bag. They're pretty inexpensive that way. And I also pick up my wicks. These are just cotton core wicks. There's no metal in them. They're pre-tabbed. They've got the little metal tab. And the pack that I buy has the little stickers. You don't need these stickers, but I like to use them because it helps stabilize everything. And here are some old ones that I had left over, and they're a little bit thicker, so they'll be better for this jar. And as far as jars go, you can use any glass jar for this. 8-ounce mason jar is going to give you 50 hours of burn time with soy wax, which is awesome. If you use beeswax, it's going to last even longer. So, but if you use like paraffin wax, the cheaper waxes, it's not going to last as long, but soy will give you 50 hours in this 8-ounce jar, which I really like, and it makes them extremely inexpensive. So my favorite jar to use are old recycled jars. Pickle jars, cheese jar, whatever. There's zero cost to this. So when we have any glass jars that we use up and they're empty, I clean them, we put them away and save them for different projects. But I love to use these for candles, because if you have to buy mason jars or jelly jars, it increases your price. And the jars can be reused. You can use any glass jar, as long as it's not real thin like a wine glass. I wouldn't use that, just because if the flame hits it, it could crack and burst, and I wouldn't do that. But I do mason jars, cheese spreads, pickle jars, glass mayonnaise jars, anything like that that's got a nice fairly thick glass. It's not too thin, so those work really, really well. And I'm going to use these today, and whatever I have for these. And you're also going to need, I have a wax spoon that I use just for wax, or a wooden spoon. I use it just for wax. I don't use it for anything else because it's really hot. You can't get it off. And I don't really like plastic spoons, so. And just a pan of water and a glass bowl on top to make a double boiler. And we're gonna get started. It's super simple and easy. We are just going to take, and you can measure out, like, your 8-ounce jar, you can measure out 8 ounces of your soy wax. I am just going to pour a bunch in the bowl because this is how I do it. It makes it really simple, and we'll just make as many candles as we can out of what's in here. So I just pour in a little bit. It does shrink down a little bit because it's in flakes, so. Yeah. Alright, so we're just going to go with that. We're going to put this on the stove. We're going to get this water boiling down here, and it will melt the wax. If you put the wax right in the pan, it can burn, and you don't really want it in the pan. You want a double boiler for this. So we're going to get this on the stove and get it melted down. Alright, so this is super simple. While we're warming up our wax on the stove, I just take these little stickers off, and you're just going to peel one, and it's going to be like double sticky, so you can stick it right to the bottom of your tab, on the bottom of your wick. You just stick it on and then peel off the little paper, so this side is sticky now. And then we're just going to take this and put it down in the jar, and you just push it down. I use a pencil or whatever. If you can reach your fingers in there, that works, but my fingers are short. So we're just going to get these jars ready, and I'm going to take these bigger wicks and put them in the bigger jar. And we'll use the smaller wicks for the skinnier jars because they don't need quite as much heat. You're going to use a bigger wick for the wider jar because it takes a little more heat to melt the wax. It'll work a little more evenly. So these tabs are a lot smaller. So you just want to kind of stick them in the middle, and these don't have to be perfect. And if you don't have little tabs, that's okay. You don't need the little sticky tabs. I like them because it makes it a little bit easier, but not everybody uses them. Can get hold of that little paper, it doesn't want to come off. Okay, so we've got our jars all ready. We just want to make sure we're keeping an eye on that wax while it's melting down. Give it a little stir, that'll help it melt a little quicker. Oh, don't stick them on the side of the jar. And again, my fingers are just too short to get down in there. Alright, so we got our jars ready. Let's go check on our wax. Alright, so you can see this is starting to melt. But we are gonna, it depends on how much you have in the bowl, how long it's gonna take to melt. So you just wanna keep melting it until it is completely, all the wax is gone. All the little flakes. You just wanna keep it on there and keep cooking until it's all melted down, and it won't burn if you have it in a double boiler. Okay, so once you don't have any more little pieces in there and it's nice and clear, it is done, and it's time to pour some candles. Okay, so this glass bowl is super duper hot. You do not want to grab that with your hand. And I like to, I'm going to take this spoon out. I'm done stirring. Set that here. I just put a piece of cardboard down in case I drip any. It's easier to chuck the piece of cardboard than scrape it off the counter. And then I'm gonna pick this up, and I just use a towel to wipe the bottom of my bowl because I don't want any water in my candle, and a little bit of the steam sticks to that bowl. So I just give it a good wipe, and then we're ready to pour. And this is handy, this bowl, for pouring, and you just pour it right in as far as you want. There you go. And then I take, you can use anything for this, a pencil, a paintbrush, a pen, anything. I'm just wrapping this wick on the pencil to hold it up so it stays in the center. They have little wick things you can buy, but you know, and I had a couple I bought with my wicks. Sometimes you get one with it, but I always lose them, and it doesn't really matter. So you just want to try to get it in the center of the jar, and then you can move on to the next one. So we'll just do a little one. And the same thing, you fill them up as high as you want. There's no specifics that you have to do. And I have a paintbrush here. Again, it doesn't matter what you use, pens, markers, whatever you have handy. Whoops, I ripped that one right out. Don't pull too hard. So we will get a new one in there. Let's operate on this baby. I'm going to pour it into my other jar. It'll be easier to fix without hot waxing. So you can just wrap this right on there. You want to be fairly gentle and wrap it right on. We're going to cut these tops of the wicks off. We just want to hold it in the center. That's all it's for. Just while it's drying, and then you can, well, keep going until you have all your jars filled. Okay, so on this one that I pulled the wick out, I'm just putting a new one in, and you could stick it right in there, and then you can refill that jar. It is ready to go again. See if I don't bust it this time. Okay, so I've got a little teeny bit left in here. It's not enough for another candle, so I'm just going to let it harden in here, and I'll grab it out with a knife and stick it back in the bag, and I will reuse this wax. So nothing goes to waste. I'm going to reuse this, and then we're going to let our other candles just sit at room temperature for a few hours and let them cool down, and they will solidify, and I will bring you back. Alright, so now that our candles are all done, we're just going to remove our little pencils and pens and all that good stuff. So they are ready to burn at this point. So we're going to trim our wicks, and I like to just take them about, oh, probably ½ an inch, and just give them a little trim. And then you can light these babies up. And there we go. Let's light them up and see how they do. Alright, so we got our candle all lit up, and this 8-ounce jelly jar size is going to last 50 hours with soy wax. Beeswax will last a little longer, and paraffin wax will not last quite as long, but the soy wax is perfect for these candles. This is great for emergency. This will last days if you only light it in the when you need light, and it is just perfect to put in your stockpile for emergency situations and survival. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.